I'm Lynn.
And I'm Leo. Welcome back to Yoga with Lin and Leo.
Yes, and today we're going to add another pose to our pose directory, Setu Bandha. This is bridge pose, and you'll see why when we start demonstrating. It's a really good action to prepare you for your inversions, and Leo will be demonstrating this today. You will need to have either 2 bricks, 2 yoga bricks, or you can also use foam blocks underneath the buttocks. There's many ways you can practice this pose, but this is a really good method to practice to build yourself up, your upper body for your inversions. Alright, so start on the mat. Now, one of the difficulties we find for people starting out practicing their preparations for their inversions is to lift the pelvis. You need to lift the pelvis quite high, and if that's challenging, then you can put your feet to the wall and then use that as a fulcrum to lift your back body up. If you can come onto the mat how it is, then be in this position. Press strongly into your feet and roll your shoulders back, and now lift the back of the pelvis up. Now if you've got the 2 bricks, you can see that Leo is on the balls of the feet here. Place them onto the sacral region, and then see that you continue that extension through the front of the body. Now start with the legs bent in this position, rotate strongly in the shoulder area so that you encourage those back ribs to move strongly in. And then gradually, as your body starts to soften and elongates, then you can start to straighten the legs a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. So keep going, a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. As soon as you find there's some restriction in the back, then pause for a moment. Always go to that edge. Don't push yourself aggressively through any of those edges. You have to see that you come to that restriction and try to release into it. If you're able to straighten your legs, some of you will do so, then you can extend them straight. Other options for this pose is to take the feet to the wall so that the legs are in line with the pelvis, and this will take some of the strain away from the lower back region. And don't forget, if it's difficult to get up, then use the wall to lift the back of the pelvis. When you're in the pose, it's time to just be very quiet and peaceful in this action, even though lots of different actions and sensations are happening. So breathe through your nostrils and be aware of the ribs, the intercostal muscles, which join those ribs together, open, broaden, expand, so that you start to completely settle in the action. And you can stay in this pose a little bit longer, depending on how it's going. As soon as you let go and you find that there's any restrictions, then it's time to come out. So we're going to be coming out of the pose now, but you can stay in it for a little bit longer should you wish to. To come out of the action, again, lift up very high with the pelvis, and if you're one of those people who need to have the wall, then you put your feet onto the wall, bend your knees and lift up like this in a similar way. And then take those bricks away. Now very slowly get quite close to the floor, and before you place the back of the pelvis down, then let the length come in the tailbone, lengthen towards your heel side. You can see Leo demonstrating here in this action, and then just releasing those feet down. And then you can just rest for a few moments. This is another preparation which is really good, very restorative in many ways. It helps with restrictions in the upper body, but also helps to calm the nerves as well.
It's a lovely, relaxing pose, although when you first start in it, it might present a few challenges. So what Lynn was saying about lifting the level of the feet so that they come in line with the hips, for many people when they first start in the action, can be helpful. Something else that I would just say is that your shoulders do need to be touching the floor when you're in that pose.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And if they're not, then you have to have a lower support underneath your pelvis, or find an Iyengar teacher local to you.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you for joining us again today, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Namaste.
Namaste.